Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. Of course, still a nail tip. These are Polygel dual form tips, not the full cover tips. They're actually tip tips. So I'm going to show you how to use them today, and it's pretty easy. You can do acrylic on these as well, just like a regular dual tip or dual form. They do work a little differently than regular dual form, so I'm going to go through and show you how to use these in case you have some laying around like I did. And I'd never really got much use out of them until recently. So I've got my peel-off base coat on, and I'm showing you the tips. You want to choose a tip that's actually a little bit bigger than your nail from side to side wall. And you're going to use this builder gel to adhere them. Don't worry, the builder gel won't stay on, the tip won't stay on with the builder gel. So here you see I've got it at kind of an angle where the tip is actually kind of leaning up instead of straight across like you would on a normal nail tip. And I'm just going to take a very small amount of builder gel with my brush here and right around the very edge of the tip that adheres to your nail. Then we are going to slide it up underneath your nail as far as you can without hurting yourself. And you see the angle, the tip is kind of pointing up, so you want it up because it's going to look better in the long run. You don't want it straight across or pointing down. You'll wind up with the wrong angle with your fingernails at the final product. So again, here we go. We're going to put the builder gel right on the edge, and then we're going to slide it underneath our nail, and then we're going to cure like you regularly would for builder gel. I will say once you get these on, you will want to be careful because they will easily pop back off. So don't hit them on anything. I only did 3 at a time. I did 3 and then I went back and did the other 2 just to make sure they weren't popping off everywhere. And if you have problems with the paper forms, these are a great alternative to use. So here I am just doing a base coat like you would on any other polygel nail or however you would adhere your nails. Of course, if you intend to keep these on for any amount of time, which I am not for this set, you would go ahead and do your prep and everything before you slide on the tips. So here I am using some builder gel, and I'm going to kind of build out that nail a little bit. First I'm doing it right around the free edge of the nail, and then I will slowly go out towards the tip. You want to go maybe a little bit wider than what your nail is, and you'll file that down later, but this is because we are doing the Russian nails, the Russian almond nails for this set. So it's easier to build it out a little bit too far and file it away than wind up not having enough on the sides. And this is going to be similar to a slip layer, except you want this layer to be thin because you're going to go over the top of it with your colored polygels. And if you're doing this with acrylics, you're also going to do just a very thin layer because you're going to want to pinch the ends to get your shape correct before you wind up applying the rest of your product. Basically, what you're doing with this layer is you're just making a tip out of nothing. So you want to make sure it's fairly thin. You don't want it super thick unless you want a clear nail. And if you're doing a clear nail, then by all means, go ahead and make it thicker and do what you're going to do. Now, as you see, I didn't go all the way down the nail to the cuticle with this gel. Basically, all I'm doing is building a tip so that I can build the rest of the nail on top. So here you see I am just pinching the form to take it off. Make sure you're careful because that tip could rip, bow, come off, whatever at this point because it's super thin. And then we just pinch the tips to get our shape that we desire. At this point it's thin enough, it's still pretty soft and pliable, so you can shape it however you want. So again, here we're just going halfway down the nail, and if you're wanting a fully clear nail, or if you just feel like you need to, go ahead and put your builder gel all the way up to your cuticle. I'm not doing that in this case because I really don't feel like I need to. I'm just focusing on making a tip per se, or a guideline for my nails. I am going to be using several different polygel colors for this set, and I think they turned out really pretty. I will say that the pink polygel that is right there in the middle, which is what I'm going to use for doing my French tip, is not my favorite. It's probably the worst polygel I have ever used. When I squeeze that polygel out of the container, you will see that it was more like working with Elmer's glue than it was anything. And it was terrible. I could not do a thing with it. I just had to put it on and cure it and go back and shape it later because it's so sticky and so runny. It was just awful. And just to go over it again, once you get your nail built a little bit, just a thin coat, you're going to cure it for 60 seconds, and then you're going to pop it off just like you would a Duel form, and then you're going to just gently squeeze it into the nail shape that you want. If you're not wanting to do this particular shape, you can do it to any shape you want. But I'm doing the Russian Almond this time, so that's the shape I am squishing it into. And do you see how thin these are at this point? They're not going to stay thin like that, but you will see I will build them up with the polygel and some glitter. And the lines that are in the Duel form that you see that come out with the gel, those won't be visible later. So here we go. This is the worst polygel I have ever used right here. You see how thin it is? It literally is like working with Elmer's glue. I don't know why that's so hard to say. Y'all, I'm tongue-tied. I can't help it. But that is a hard word to say. But you see the consistency of this stuff? It is awful. More than likely, I'm probably going to wind up throwing it away. So wait till you see what it does when I try to use the cuticle stick. It just mushes around. I mean, it's like sticky. It's way past sticky. It's just like liquid. It's god-awful. You literally cannot shape it. You can't do anything with it. It's just, I don't know. It's like there's something wrong with it. But it does cure well. So I don't know what's going on with this stuff, but more than likely I'm going to wind up throwing this bottle away because it's just terrible. Junk. And you see, I even tried the brush and still really couldn't do anything with it. Yeah, this just goes to show that not all polygels are created equal. Because with this brand, I have never had a problem before until this particular color. So I don't know what's up with it. It's like literally like trying to shape pudding. I just can't with this stuff. But I did just for the sake of the set. I just continue using it, and I'll go back and file it and fix it later because y'all, oh my gosh, I just can't. So we went ahead and did all of these nails with this horrible, horrible polygel, and you see it's all lumpy and bumpy and not smooth and just awful. I really don't know what McCart was thinking with these, but yeah, I'll pass on any more of these. Which is sad because I really like McCart polygels for the most part. This is the only one I've ever found that was horrible. But I did the best I can with it, and we'll move on because the rest of the polygels were actually a dream to work with. I did give up on this stuff after 3 nails and decided to go in with Madame Glam's Behind the Scenes, this gorgeous dark blue, to go right around the edges of the Frenchies. I did go with a file around the edges of those polygels just because I wanted them flatter and I couldn't do anything with them before they were cured. But I didn't show the filing because y'all know how to file a Frenchie to get it into shape. I am sure. So I am just going in with this blue to kind of define that Frenchie line, and I'll go back and fix it later. I'm not too worried about it being smooth or anything because it's going to be covered up anyway by the end of the set. So, and then I cure that for 60 seconds. You can get away with doing it for 30 seconds, but because I'm using polygel, I did 60 seconds just because I wanted to make sure everything was cohesive. And if you do make any mistakes with applying this, you can just go back and clean it up with a little bit of alcohol. It won't hurt anything. And if you're worried it won't bother that sticky layer at all, because you want to keep that sticky layer as much as possible on that gel form. So if you do end up having to get rid of that sticky layer, you can just go through and put some base coat on it and cure that, just to fix that problem if you need to, or you find it necessary. So here we are going to go in with the blue polygel, and you see that's more like normal polygel. And I am using my cuticle stick that is soaked in alcohol, and I'm just going to go through and gently apply it into shape, and really just whatever shape you're looking for. I'm going to do with this one kind of a ombre with some other colors, and you'll see how that works. But I'm just making it a super thin coat of this color, and all the colors really, because I'm going to go back over it with a clear polygel just to make sure none of that glitter moves around and is completely encapsulated. And after I apply these blue color, then I am going to go back and I'm going to repinch my tips to make sure they are retaining their shape before I cure anything. And you'll want to do that several times while you're applying the layers of polygel till you get it thick enough to where it's not pliable. Because with doing these Russian tips this way, it is easy to lose your shape towards the end of the nail. And I'm really not too worried about it being perfect or smooth, just because I'm going to go back and have to do some filing anyway to get my shape that I want with these. And once I get these blue laid down and looking how I want it to, I will cure that for 60 seconds. But I will cure it on both top for 60 seconds, and I'll flip my hand over and cure it underneath for 60 seconds, just to make sure it is fully cured. Some of these colored polygels will cure on top and then not cure on the bottom. So to do it that way, it is really helpful to make sure they're fully cured. And yeah, they are looking a little crazy at this point, but it does turn out good in the end. At least in my opinion, it did. So if you are enjoying this video, I hope you are, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave me a comment. Maybe leave me a blue heart or a rose just to let me know you've been here. And let me know what you think about these or the process of doing these, because they are looking all kinds of crazy at this point. But if you can see with this blue how different this polygel behaves compared to the first pink one I used. Such a huge difference, y'all. I just can't even specify how bad that polygel was. So here I am going in with just a thin layer of the blue on the other nails that are not French nails. And then I'm going to thin it out just because I'm going to add some glitter to it and creating kind of an ombre look with the glitter and the blue. Once that blue is all laid down, then I'm actually going to go through with a base coat, and so that my glitter will adhere. I don't think I showed it, but I used Madame Glam's base coat to do that. And then I'm just going to dump that glitter on top so that it sticks to the base coat, and kind of move it around with my cuticle stick to make sure the glitter is where I want it before I cure it. So first, to do the glitter, I used this little scoop, but it was just taking forever, so I turned around and I just started dumping it on the nails, and then slightly pressing it down so that it stayed into shape and it was flat on the nail. And don't you worry, I did not lose any of this glitter. I actually was able to save all of it because I dumped it out on a paper towel, and then the paper towel I put back in, I shook the glitter back into the container. And these are hollow glitters, and I bought a pack of 12 of them off of Amazon. So if you are interested in these glitters, they're absolutely gorgeous, and I've used them in several videos. Hit me up and I'll send you a link to this pack of glitters. They're absolutely gorgeous. And then once you get the glitters in place where you want them, make sure to cure for 60 seconds so those glitters don't move around. We will later clear cap them, but for now we're going to go in with the next color and not worry about the clear capping quite yet. So the rest of the application is pretty much standard, and yeah, I did that. I flipped my glitter over, so I said to heck with it. I'm just going to pour it on and we'll go with it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here, and if I need to explain anything else, I will definitely jump back on. But the application's pretty much self-explanatory and easy to do.
Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh.